Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited for today's deep dive because we're going to be talking about something that's reshaping the world of digital security, AI-powered cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
Our listeners have been really interested to learn more about how AI is impacting cybersecurity, and it makes sense, right?
Right.
Every day we hear about these new cyber threats, so understanding how artificial intelligence is being used to fight back against them is, well, it's just crucial in you know, this digital world we live in.
It is.
So to really understand what's happening, we're going to be focusing primarily on this fantastic article from Devhooks titled The Evolution of AI-Powered Cybersecurity, a New Era of Digital Protection. We're going to uncover how AI can actually, predict these attacks before they happen.
Yeah.
The incredible ways AI is already being used to fight cybercrime, and also we're going to get into some potential downsides that maybe people aren't really talking about as much.
Yeah, that's right.
So are you ready to, really unpack all this?
Definitely. I think it's important to realize that, this isn't just about adding another layer of security, on top of what we already have. It's really a whole new approach.
Yeah.
It's a paradigm shift. We're moving from reactive measures to a proactive, always learning defense system, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that is super fascinating. For years, cybersecurity was all about building stronger and stronger firewalls and just reacting to these known threats, right?
Yeah.
But then what happens when the threats are always changing?
Right.
And they're getting more and more complex. It's like trying to hit a moving target, but you're blindfolded.
Yeah, exactly. In traditional cybersecurity measures, they often rely on recognizing patterns from past attacks.
Yeah.
But AI can analyze just massive amounts of data, like looking at the behavior of millions of users
Oh, wow.
to detect even just a single account that's acting a little bit suspicious. And that kind of granular analysis, it's just not possible for humans to do.
Right.
It's just too much data.
So AI is bringing this whole new level of intelligence and vigilance to the game, right?
It is.
I'm curious, though, what are some of the specific AI technologies that are making this revolution in cybersecurity possible?
So one of the most important is machine learning, ML. Think of ML as like a detective that never sleeps.
Okay.
These algorithms can analyze huge amounts of data, and they learn from each new piece of information to identify anomalies that could signal an attack. For example, an ML model might detect a sudden spike in data uploads from a particular device,
Okay.
something that a human analyst might just completely overlook.
So instead of just reacting to these, known threats, these ML models are constantly learning and evolving, almost like they're developing an intuition for cybercrime, which is kind of scary.
That's right, yeah. They're getting better and better all the time.
Yeah.
And then you also have natural language processing, or NLP, which is another game changer. NLP is all about how AI can understand and interpret human language,
Yeah.
which is important because a lot of attacks, involve tricking people.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a real challenge. Can AI really grasp all the nuances of human language, like the subtle cues that might indicate a phishing attempt?
It's fascinating, yeah.
Yeah.
NLP goes beyond just understanding, the literal words. It can also do things like sentiment analysis, which looks at the emotional tone of a message, and context extraction, which is about analyzing the relationships between words and phrases. And by combining these techniques, AI can start to identify malicious intent, even in messages that might appear harmless at first glance.
Okay, so even if a phishing email is, really cleverly worded to sound legitimate,
Right.
AI can still pick up on those red flags that a human might miss.
That's the goal, yeah.
That's amazing.
And then we also have predictive threat intelligence, which is, I think, where things get really interesting.
Predictive threat intelligence. So is that AI can actually see into the future of cyber attacks? It's got a crystal ball or something?
Well, not exactly seeing the future, but it's pretty close. What it does is it uses AI to analyze vast amounts of historical data,
Okay.
looking for patterns and trends that could, indicate potential future attacks. It's like, how they analyze weather patterns to predict where a storm might hit.
Oh.
It's kind of like that.
So it's not about reacting to what's already happened, but using past data to kind of anticipate what might happen next. That's incredibly powerful.
It is. It is. And it's important to remember that these technologies, they aren't just theoretical concepts. They're being applied right now in the real world to protect people and organizations from this constantly evolving landscape of threats.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really eager to dive into, like how this is actually playing out on the ground. Can you give us some like concrete examples of how AI is being used in cybersecurity today?
Of course, yeah.
Like what are we seeing?
So one of the most impactful areas is real-time monitoring and response. Think of AI as like a 247 security guard that never sleeps. You know, constantly analyzing network traffic for any signs of suspicious activity.
Hmm.
But unlike humans, AI can analyze huge volumes of data simultaneously,
Uh-huh.
and it can instantly detect and respond to threats before they can cause significant damage.
It's like having an army of like digital detectives
Yeah.
constantly patrolling the network, looking for any sign of trouble.
That's a great way to put it.
That's pretty wild. Okay, what else? What else are we seeing out there?
And then there's the automation of vulnerability management,
Mm-hmm.
which is, a huge challenge for organizations of all sizes, really.
Yeah.
Every system, every piece of software has its weaknesses, right?
Right.
AI can scan these systems, identify vulnerabilities, and prioritize them based on risk, so you know which ones to focus on first.
So instead of relying on humans to like manually check for potential weaknesses, AI can do it much, much faster.
That's faster.
And probably more thoroughly, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And this becomes even more critical when you consider the world of the Internet of Things, which is just exploding.
It is.
We're talking about billions of connected devices, from smart thermostats to industrial sensors, each one a potential entry point for hackers.
It's a mind-boggling number of devices to try to secure.
It is.
Yeah.
But AI is uniquely suited for this challenge because it can adapt security protocols based on the behavior of individual devices.
Mm-hmm.
It can learn what's normal for a particular device and then flag any deviations that could indicate a problem.
So it's like having a personalized security detail for every single device on the network.
That's a great way to think about it, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. And all of these capabilities lead to some really incredible benefits.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the biggest advantages of having AI on our side in this, this ongoing cybersecurity battle?
So one of the most obvious benefits is speed, right?
Makes sense.
AI can detect and respond to threats at a speed it's impossible for humans to match.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that rapid response time is absolutely critical in, mitigating the damage from an attack.
The faster you can contain a breach,
Right.
the less impact it's going to have.
Exactly.
But speed isn't everything, right?
No, it's not.
What about accuracy
Yeah.
and the ability to avoid those human errors that can sometimes, leave us vulnerable in the first place?
Yeah, that's another key advantage of AI. It removes the element of human fallibility from many security tasks.
Oh, okay.
AI systems don't get tired.
Right.
They don't get distracted. They don't make mistakes due to fatigue or oversight.
Mm-hmm.
They can just consistently analyze data and enforce security protocols with a level of precision that, humans just can't replicate.
So AI is not only faster, but also more reliable in a lot of ways. It's like having this like tireless, ever vigilant guardian watching over your digital assets. But, with all this talk about AI's capabilities, I can't help but wonder about the potential downsides too, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, are there any risks involved in relying so heavily on AI for our cybersecurity?
That's a really critical question.
Yeah,
And one we need to address, head on.
for sure.
While AI offers just incredible potential, it's not a silver bullet. There are some very real challenges and concerns that we need to think about carefully.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of the potential pitfalls that we need to be aware of?
Well, one of the most concerning developments is the rise of what's known as adversarial AI.
Adversarial AI.
Yeah, so essentially, this is the use of AI by malicious actors to create even more sophisticated, and evasive attacks.
So it's like using AI to fight AI, a kind of cyber arms race where both sides are constantly like upping the ante.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Hackers are using AI to develop new forms of malware that can learn and adapt to bypass traditional security measures.
Oh, wow.
They're also using AI to craft, incredibly convincing phishing attacks
Wow.
that can fool even the most vigilant users.
It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
I know, right?
But this is happening right now, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's kind of unsettling.
And it just reminds us that AI is a tool,
Yeah.
It can be used for good or bad.
Right.
And as AI technology gets more and more advanced, this arms race, it's only going to intensify.
That's a little scary.
It is, yeah.
But aside from adversarial AI, are there any other concerns about, becoming too reliant on these automated systems?
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely a risk of overdependence.
Okay.
While AI can automate many aspects of cybersecurity,
Hmm.
it's really crucial that we don't just think, oh, we can just set it and forget it, you know?
Yeah, right. Like it's just going to take care of everything.
Yeah, human expertise is still absolutely essential
Okay.
in overseeing these systems,
Hmm.
interpreting their findings, and making critical decisions when necessary.
So it's not about replacing human cybersecurity professionals with AI,
Right.
but rather using AI to kind of like augment their capabilities and allow them to focus on the most like complex and strategic tasks.
That's the goal.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about finding the right balance, right?
It is.
Between human expertise and AI automation.
Yeah.
But shifting gears a bit, I'm also curious about the potential of AI to not just, react to threats, but to actively seek them out.
Mhm.
Is that something we're seeing in the field today?
Yeah, you're talking about autonomous threat hunting, which is definitely an area of active research and development.
Okay.
It's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
Imagine AI systems that don't just passively monitor for attacks, but they actively search for vulnerabilities and neutralize threats before they can even be exploited.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like having an AI-powered immune system.
Yeah.
Constantly scanning for and eliminating potential dangers before they can even cause harm.
That's a great analogy. I like that. And while this technology is still kind of in its early stages, there are already some really promising applications. For example, AI is being used to identify and patch vulnerabilities in software before they can even be exploited by hackers.
So it's not just about responding to attacks, but about preventing them from happening in the first place.
Right.
That's huge.
It is a big deal.
Now, I know we talked earlier about the potential downsides of AI, but I'm also curious about the positive side of that coin.
Yep.
What are some of the most exciting developments on the horizon in, AI-powered cybersecurity?
Well, one area that I think holds immense promise is the convergence of AI and blockchain technology.
Chain.
Yeah.
Okay, so blockchain is often associated with, cryptocurrencies and things like that.
Yeah.
But I can see how its immutability and transparency could be really valuable for cybersecurity as well.
Right.
How might those two technologies work together?
Imagine AI algorithms analyzing transactions on a blockchain in real time, looking for patterns that could indicate fraud or malicious activity.
Okay.
This would allow for, much faster and more accurate detection of financial crimes and other security threats.
So AI could be used to essentially audit and secure blockchain transactions,
Exactly.
ensuring their integrity and preventing, malicious actors from exploiting any vulnerabilities.
That's right.
That's really interesting. Okay. So what else? What else is on the horizon?
And another really exciting development is, we're seeing increasingly sophisticated AI models that are specifically designed to counter those adversarial AI attacks that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
As attackers become more adept at using AI for malicious purposes, defenders are developing countermeasures using, AI techniques to detect and neutralize these threats.
So it's like an ongoing evolution with both sides leveraging the power of AI to try and outmaneuver each other.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're entering a whole new era of cybersecurity.
We are.
One where AI plays a central role in both attack and defense.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's exciting, but it's also a little bit intimidating.
It is, but, while there are certainly challenges and risks to consider, the potential benefits of AI and cybersecurity, they're just too great to ignore. It's a transformative technology that has the potential to make our digital world a much safer and more secure place.
So after this, deep dive into AI-powered cybersecurity, what are some key takeaways you'd like our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing to understand is that AI is not just a futuristic concept. It's already happening.
Yeah.
It's already having a real impact on the way we protect our digital assets. From real-time threat detection to vulnerability management and even the potential for this autonomous threat hunting, AI is transforming the cybersecurity landscape.
In remarkable ways, yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not just about technology, is it?
No, it's not.
It's about understanding this evolving threat landscape,
Mhm.
the importance of human expertise, and the need for a, balanced approach that leverages the strengths of both AI and human intelligence.
Exactly, because AI is a powerful tool,
Yeah.
but it's not a panacea. And it's essential to recognize both its potential and its limitations.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to our listener for a moment.
Okay.
Why should they care about all of this?
Yeah.
How does the rise of AI-powered cybersecurity actually impact their everyday lives?
Well, in today's hyper-connected world, cybersecurity is no longer just a concern for, like large organizations or tech-savvy individuals.
Right.
It affects everyone.
It does.
We all rely on digital devices and services for everything, from
Yeah,
communication and entertainment to banking, shopping, healthcare. It's everything.
it's true, yeah. Our digital footprint is constantly expanding,
Yeah.
and with it, our vulnerability to these cyber attacks.
And those attacks can have really devastating
Yeah.
consequences. Identity theft, financial fraud, the compromise of sensitive personal information.
Yeah.
The stakes are higher than ever before.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that AI-powered cybersecurity isn't just some, like, abstract concept.
Right.
It's something that has a very real impact on our daily lives, whether we realize it or not.
Exactly. And as cyber threats continue to evolve and become more sophisticated, AI will play an increasingly critical role in safeguarding our digital lives.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored the evolution of AI-powered cybersecurity, delved into the specific technologies driving this revolution, and examined real-world examples of how AI is being applied to protect individuals and organizations from these cyber threats.
And we've also talked about some of the potential downsides and challenges associated with AI, as well as some of the most exciting developments on the horizon.
It's been a fascinating journey. But before we sign off, I want to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question to consider. As these AI systems become, more and more sophisticated and autonomous, they're going to be making decisions that have a real impact on our digital lives, right?
Absolutely.
So how do we ensure that these systems are being used responsibly and ethically? Like, what are the implications for things like privacy and individual rights as AI takes on this greater role in cybersecurity?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's something we really have to grapple with.
Hmm.
As AI systems become more complex, it also becomes more and more difficult to understand exactly how they're making these decisions.
Yeah, it's like a black box almost, right?
Yeah. And that lack of transparency raises concerns about accountability. If an AI system makes a mistake, who's ultimately responsible for that?
Right, right.
And how do we make sure that these systems aren't biased or discriminatory in their actions? It's a big challenge.
It seems like we need to almost develop new frameworks and regulations to govern the use of AI in cybersecurity,
Yeah,
especially as these systems become even more powerful and autonomous, right?
I agree. We definitely need to strike a balance
Yeah.
between harnessing the amazing power of AI for good
Mm-hmm.
while also safeguarding against, potential misuse or unintended consequences.
Right.
This requires open dialogue, collaboration between, industry experts, policymakers, and the public, and I think a real commitment to developing ethical guidelines for AI development and deployment.
Yeah, it's a complex issue with, probably no easy answers,
Right.
but it's a conversation that we definitely need to be having now as AI becomes more and more integrated into, well, pretty much every aspect of our lives, right?
It is.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key message you want to leave our listener with about AI and the future of cybersecurity?
I think the most important thing to remember is that, the future of cybersecurity is a shared responsibility.
Okay, I like that.
While AI offers just incredible tools and capabilities, it's crucial that we all play an active role in protecting ourselves and our digital assets.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Things like staying informed about the latest threats and best practices, being cautious about the information we share online, using strong passwords, multi-factor authentication.
Right.
All of those basic things still really matter.
They do, yeah. Those are all excellent tips, and I couldn't agree more. Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility, and we all need to be proactive in protecting ourselves and our data.
Absolutely. And remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
The more you understand about these evolving threats
Mm,
and the technologies being used to combat cybercrime, the better equipped you'll be to, just navigate the digital world safely and securely.
well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into AI-powered cybersecurity. We hope you found it informative and engaging. And if you have any questions or thoughts you'd like to share, feel free to reach out to us on our website or social media channels.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we always love hearing from our listeners.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe in the digital world.
So as AI systems become even more sophisticated and autonomous, they're going to be making decisions that have a real impact on, our digital lives.
They are.
How do we make sure that these AI systems are being used responsibly and ethically? What are the implications for, things like our privacy and our individual rights as AI takes on this greater role in cybersecurity?
That's a question that deserves, really careful consideration.
Yeah.
As AI systems become more complex, it also becomes increasingly difficult to really understand, like, how they're actually making these decisions.
Yeah.
And this raises some concerns about transparency and accountability, right?
Right.
Like if an AI system makes a mistake, a significant mistake, who is responsible for that?
Right. Yeah.
And how do we ensure that these systems aren't biased, or discriminatory in their actions? These are really important questions.
Yeah, those are big questions.
They are.
It seems like we need to develop like almost new frameworks and regulations to govern the use of AI in cybersecurity, especially as these systems become, even more powerful and autonomous, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, how do we even begin to approach that?
Well, I think we need to strike a balance, right? A balance between harnessing the incredible power of AI for good
Mm.
while also, safeguarding against potential misuse
Yeah.
or unintended consequences, right?
Yeah.
And this requires open dialogue, collaboration between, all the stakeholders, the industry experts, the policymakers, the public, and I think a real commitment to developing, ethical guidelines for AI development and deployment.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Right. There aren't any easy answers.
But it's a conversation that like we need to be having now as AI just becomes more and more integrated into, pretty much every aspect of our lives.
We do. It's not going away.
Yeah, it's not going away.
So we need to start thinking about this carefully.
Yeah. Okay, so to wrap things up then, what's like the one key message, the one thing you really want to leave our listeners with about AI and the future of cybersecurity?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of cybersecurity, it's a shared responsibility.
Okay.
While AI offers these incredible tools and capabilities, it's crucial that we all play an active role in protecting ourselves and our digital assets. Stay informed about the latest threats and best practices. Be cautious about the information we share online. Use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication. All of these things still matter.
Yeah, those are all excellent tips, and I couldn't agree more. Cybersecurity really is everyone's responsibility, and we need to be proactive in protecting ourselves and our data.
Exactly. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about the evolving threat landscape, the technologies that are being used to combat cybercrime, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the digital world safely and securely.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into AI-powered cybersecurity. We hope you found it informative and engaging. And if you have any questions or thoughts you'd like to share, feel free to reach out to us on our website or social media channels. We always love hearing from our listeners.
Wait, do.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there in the digital world.